It's funny because, we hear all these things on TV and we hear all these people talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the dynamic of those two and who's the better player. We heard Jason Kidd kind of plant that seed of, yeah, Jaylen Brown's the best player on the team, kind of trying to get in the heads of the Boston Celtics, right? A lot of people talk about how Jason Tatum isn't scoring the ball a whole bunch or he's not in this top tier of players. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we're just calling it what it is. He's not in the top tier, like in the same category as a Luca, but he's kind of in that next tier. But at the same time, he's doing a great job on this team. He's making such a great impact on this team. We just talked about how he's been very versatile on the defensive end and how he's able to help the Boston Celtics really stop what the Dallas Mavericks do. He is the starting point of the Boston Celtics game plan to stop what Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks like to do, right? So he's playing such an important role. Jaylen Brown is playing such an important role. So I don't necessarily like when people try and like put them against each other. And I think we just got to accept them for what they are. And they are really good players on the same team with a lot of really good talent around them. And I think Brad Stevens recognized that and put this roster around them to help them excel and point them in the right direction and highlight their strengths. So I don't necessarily like how people try and put them against each other. But I think these two players do such a great job on this team and they impact this team at such a really high level, whether they're scoring, whether they're not. They are two-way players that can affect the game with their scoring, but can also affect the game on the defensive end. And I know Jayson Tatum, you kind of struggling to find his footing a little bit shooting the basketball, but he's doing such a great job everywhere else on the defensive end. He did a great job passing the ball. Even though his shot isn't falling, he's finding other ways to affect the game at a high level. And so is Jaylen Brown. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like his offensive performance as far as scoring the ball is kind of reminded me of that 20, what was it, 22 finals against the
Yeah,
Golden
against the
State
Warriors.
Warriors, where he just doesn't seem like he can really find that rhythm that he's looking for. But I do expect him to have a pretty big game, one of these next two games on the road. It's typically where he really kind of gets it going. But I thought it was kind of funny where Jason Kidd said that because the game plan doesn't say that as far as how they're guarding the Celtics. If you notice, whenever Tatum has the ball, it's always the second guy or they're really like shading him. It's a lot of if you look at just the position of the defense when he has the ball, a lot of times players are taught to see ball and man, but it's like a lot of eyes on him. It's almost like all
Yeah.
everybody's eyes are looking at him. Anytime he drives, there's a guy ready to stunt and help. Even sometimes it looks like they'll triple team him. And their game plan is really trying to keep him from getting that rhythm. And he's doing a really good job of just finding guys. And in that game one, he was a big reason why they were able to get all those catch and shoot opportunities. A lot of those catch and shoot opportunities came off of him drawing that second or third defender, and guys were just wide open, able to catch. And then Jaylen Brown, from a Jaylen Brown standpoint, whenever he's able to score, I feel like his job is very simplified where he can just really be aggressive. You know, Tatum probably has the more tendency to pass the ball or to really kick it out whenever he feels that second guy coming. So it was just funny to me because I don't think he's playing that role where he's meant to necessarily just be set up to score because he's the guy starting the play a lot of times. If you look at it, and every time he drives, at least the way it looks to me, there's always another guy coming to help. There's been a lot of times where there were some calls where he could have been fouled. There's been a lot of times where he's gotten stripped of the ball, but you can't do that if you only have one guy guarding him. It's usually coming from a second person helping on the drive. And not everybody on the Celtics is receiving necessarily that same type of attention. And I think Tatum's at his best. I think one of the things I usually get on him about is he settles for those jump shots a lot, where I think he
Yeah.
could be so lethal in the mid range. I think he could be so lethal getting to the basket. He kind of settles, in my opinion. So with them shutting that off, he's kind of forced to take those over the top shots. And, that's a rhythm thing for a basketball player. So if he's seeing different type of looks, he's seeing two every time he drives, that can mess up his rhythm if he's not able to get those easy ones in. He's not getting to the line too much. Just because, it's the playoffs, those calls are always going to get called. So I think his shot not falling is due to him not able to really get to the rim because they're putting so much attention on him and he's being forced to take those over the top shots. And it's hard to find a rhythm if you can't get some easy ones to go. And I think a lot of the offense for the Celtics are benefiting off of him drawing that double team. So it was just funny to me when Jason Kidd said that. Not trying to say one's better than the other because I think they excel in what they do. Jaylen Brown's been amazing, just beating his guy and playing both ways. But the way the game plan says is different than what Jason Kidd is saying, where they're putting more attention on Tatum when he makes a move compared to the rest of the Celtics. So that's how I look at it.